Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dota Summit 8 Winter Wonderland. I'm LD. I'm joined here by some beautiful people. We've got the
Hello.
ugly Christmas sweater couch.
Maybe yours is
Holding
ugly.
it down.
Mine's beautiful.
Yeah, you're beautiful.
Thank you.
And a slightly less beautiful couch, but legendary
You do.
nonetheless. We've got BSJ and Gods. Gentlemen, big day today. We start the day off with Group C, LGD versus OpTic, but then the match everyone's waiting for, Group B, gets wrapped up. It could be
NA
Kingwin.
showdown.
Kingwin could walk away with the group.
Yeah, if neither of the teams goes 3-0, then Kingwin walks away with it, and either way, we're gonna know one of the two NA teams is gonna get last in the group. So, a lot on the line in that one.
Wow,
Yeah,
we really quickly jumped into Dota this morning, huh?
Yeah. Well, I knew there was a lot on the line this morning, so I was rushing to get here, and I got a ticket.
Oh, no.
I told the officer, I said, I'm going to Winter Wonderland, officer. There's beautiful Dota to be played, but he still wrote me.
Wait, that didn't work?
No, that didn't work.
Oh wow.
So the last time I got pulled over, the cop actually played Dota.
Did you get out of it?
Middle of nowhere in Kansas, I was driving across the country, and I got out of my ticket at 3 or 4 in the morning because this young, 20-year-old cop pulled me over, and he didn't know where I was, but he's like, oh, what are you moving out there for? Like, what do you do? He just started asking questions. I was like, oh, I'm a video game commentator, and he's like, oh, what game? Dota? And he's like, oh, I love that game. I play that game. And I told him, and then he'd heard of BTS, so needless to say, I didn't have to pay my ticket.
Yeah,
which was great.
this guy has never seen a computer. I'm pretty sure. I almost asked him if
Jesus.
he knew how many Twitter followers I had, but I'm pretty sure his response would have been, "What is Twitter? Is that the
Yeah.
thing that Trump uses?" So, I took the ticket.
Yeah, I think you should instead of saying that.
Yeah, I kept my mouth shut. I'm a good citizen.
Cut your losses.
Yeah. So, how do we feel about the games today, guys? How do we feel about the Dota we've seen so far?
It's been good. Kingwin was pretty surprising. I'm 0-5 on predictions, so I have to say I'm surprised.
At some point, you have to get one.
I'm
right?
surprised. Yeah, at some point. Maybe today I'll get something right.
It's today the day.
I mean, you
I
did
don't
guess
know.
50%, right?
Why don't we get your predictions locked in?
Honestly, I'm just gonna whatever I think is gonna be right. I'm gonna go with the opposite. I did that yesterday. It didn't work, but I think today it has to have some sign of success.
Maybe you
rate.
should select like a surrogate. Like someone who knows what he's talking about, like BSJ, perhaps. To
He got them all
I
wrong
was-
with me. he was like 1-5. He was on board with me.
By BSJ, I meant Gods.
Yeah.
I was
The other guy
0-2, but until I went against them in game 3.
Just to be a
Yeah.
contrarian, and it paid
Yeah.
off.
No, I went with Morphling. I think Morphling's still undefeated, so that's my advice to you guys as struggling pickers.
That's what we were thinking
Pick
back there.
Morphling.
What if Morphling and Deuce are on opposite teams? Then
Oh,
then we're on a
that's-
tear because they're both 100% win.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to change.
Something's got to make it easier for us because so far, our predictions are not cutting it.
So what can we do to mix it up here? What's the secret?
I mean, this could work. This series could do it for me. I'm feeling confident in my
Maybe
choices this
it
game.
should be more like
this
Grant.
time.
Play a little Mario, and get yourself loose, relax.
Grant just cheats. He didn't even predict yesterday. And look, he just jumped out. He's crumbling when he's on camera.
that is some NA Mario right
I'm
there.
glad we named it for that. That was
The
perfect.
pressure really got to him.
Is that
just-
World 1?
Well-
Oh, you're still on World 1.
Damn.
Is he going to fall again? Oh my
man,
God.
he
Almost
learned
in the
from
same
mistakes.
spot.
That's
Salvage.
crucial.
Salvage.
That's crucial.
Is he speedrunning?
Oh my God. Grant, you're garbage.
I didn't even have a chance.
The game's broken.
Yes, we have a hacked version of Mario here, designed to make Grant look
No, the
bad.
button didn't work.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Mhm.
It's never your fault. That's the true Dota way.
You know what I'm happy to see? I look at the screen. Well, we still have time. We still got like 9 minutes. All 10 players in the lobby. They're ready to go.
They were here before the viewers were.
Holy crap.
They were locked in. They're hyped. We've had our hospitality staff trying to get them revved up for the match.
Yep.
The 9 a.m. match.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started an hour earlier compared to last summits, but no team seemed to be struggling to get here on time.
We noticed, though.
Yeah, they-
Definitely noticed that we're an hour earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently Grace was giving LGD some Jiao Yu.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were slightly less enthusiastic.
They react usually. I've been seeing them a little
Yeah.
bit more active.
No, they've
Hang out.
definitely loosened up since the early summits.
Yeah.
Where they just played a lot of FIFA.
Yeah.
We took the
they
FIFA
claimed an
away.
area. They claimed an area, and then we couldn't
The
go near
Vici
them.
gaming couch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna go play a couple pubs last night, and I just had a sleeping Yao on my chair. So
So what did you do?
I allowed him to sleep on my chair.
Did you play your pubs? Or?
I didn't get to play any pubs because there's a sleeping man on my chair. So
It's alright. It's Yao. That's
He
his-
looks so
that's his
peaceful. I couldn't interrupt that, you know.
You're a lucky man, you know.
name.
You've
Not
got
many people get that.
Yeah.
How often can you say that? Yeah, that's on my resume now.
You and Chow Wade. So it's a very elite list. You're basically a TI winner.
I mean, yesterday I was basically no one from Virtus Pro, and now I'm basically Zhao 8. So I'm moving up in the world.
Those are big steps.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
huge. What's up?
This music is just
It is soothing.
It's kind of off-putting.
Off-putting.
I'm not really crazy about it. It's a little too calming.
That's what I'm saying.
Too
Okay, I
mellow.
said
It's
soothing.
too mellow. I
Yeah.
need
Would,
something
would you
more.
like some dubstep?
I need
perhaps
no.
to,
Wub-wubs.
to get you pumped up in the morning. What do you listen to when you want to get pumped up?
Lately,
Jam?
or
Yeah, just to ever.
I mean, right now I have some pretty awful stuff I listen to, but
What's the worst song that you?
I mean,
listen to?
I've actually just been listening to Hamilton lately. I'm just addicted.
Really.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't really listen to too much music, dude.
Like how you quickly went for the eye scratch. You know, just-
I don't really listen to too much music. I don't know what's wrong with me. Every time I try to find something, I play it too many times. I overplay it and I kill it for myself.
You know, he had a summit
a
where
vicious cycle.
the biggest controversy was Envy wanting his personal music in his ears.
Which one is that?
Do you remember that, David?
Yeah, we
Is
had
it two?
like several hours of
I
debate over
I
it.
think like that was the most time that a player ever spent like
Yeah.
lobbying the admins.
Yeah.
Wait, why would that be something like he wouldn't be allowed to have?
I think it started because Valve disallowed it at one of their events. Maybe it was a TI or something. So we kind of thought about it like, why did Valve disallow it? Should we disallow it? And the idea was
Okay.
that you can have like music or a song that maybe helps you in game. Like, let's say you have a song that just like literally you could be listening to audio file like telling you like remind you to like check runes or something. I don't fucking know. Like there's you can basically like what is music or what's a song and what's
Yeah.
allowed. Maybe there's a certain song that just gives you reminders of like what
That'd
to
be
do
like
in game.
some
It's
next level,
I
like
agree.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it would be Envy who had that.
If,
so
if
I
anyone,
understand.
if anyone would have that,
If anyone thought, you know, in the 4D chess to like come up with a way to, you know, give themselves an advantage.
Like you go find a musician, be like, can you write a song for me that has this build? Like you need to put this lyrics at this timestamp to
yes.
make sure I play Dota to perfection.
2-minute intervals.
but he,
for the
he gave a
riffs.
passionate defense. It was like straight out of like a John Grisham
Yeah.
novel. You know, we couldn't withstand the onslaught. We
he
had to
brought
give
the
in.
emotions to that debate with us, and you know we caved.
I mean, I've watched the stream. He brings emotions to the table. For
Yeah,
sure.
it was a learning experience for us and him, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If
I don't
that's
think
still
he won
allowed
that
or not.
event though, even with the music.
Which summit? I don't know which summit was
Cloud
that.
9,
2
I
or
think.
3?
They got
Two.
They got second place, I want to say.
Yeah. Well, maybe that for Cloud9, that's like their
Yeah, that was
expected
the Cloud 9
results.
second,
huh?
second place.
Oh,
days.
yeah, that's right.
So they achieved the
Yeah.
results.
I played at that.
I think Vici Gaming won that summit.
Oh,
maybe.
yeah, that was in the Navi US days.
No,
oh, no, you were standing
I
in.
was standing in for Peru.
Yeah.
I was being Jimmy.
I thought you might stand in this event, but
That was the summit we had.
I thought I might too.
We had a third place decider. I think that summit. EG lost semifinals and then just got through. Didn't care about the third place deciding match. They just like threw every game. But we got rid of those third place deciders pretty fast.
Good.
it's been a beautiful trip here down memory lane. But it's a new day, you know.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the Dota that we have before us. We've got
There we go.
OpTic versus LGD. Thoughts on the matchup? LGD had a pretty shaky, kind of underwhelming showing at MDL.
So we got a good split. You guys, did you get to watch a lot of MDL?
I watched like a little bit of LGD's games.
Okay, so I got to watch. I was doing Aces, so I didn't get to see a lot of MDL. Actually, I didn't get to see it. I know LGD was not having a good time. They were using Victoria too, right?
Yeah.
I got to see OpTic at Aces. They got with the full 5 series versus Empire in the finals. They were a bit shaky too. They had some games where they had a mega creep game where they had full mega creeps with all their racks alive.
Seemed
And they ended up
unlosable.
losing. Yeah, it seemed very unlosable. They ended up losing that one. They had a couple other games too where they had a pretty favorable draft, I'd say, and they had a good advantage, and they ended up losing as well. So a little bit of lack of consistency coming in from OpTic, and their mid-late game decisions is a little bit lacking. So I don't know, how do you think that is going to fare versus LGD?
I mean, that's
You guys,
exactly
you guys got to see them more.
that's
so.
exactly where LGD struggled
Yeah.
in some of the games we cast. They were
Okay.
quite far ahead against Navi, like 10, 15K gold, pretty good late game draft, and just got outplayed in quite a few team fights, which, to be fair, is kind of what Navi's, I guess, their hallmark is that crazy mid-game comeback where you think they're out of it.
And that's where, so you guys are saying Navi. OpTic played versus Empire, and that was the same exact thing. OpTic was like, oh, we're going to play the battle game, and we're going to fight Empire. And Empire's like, okay, thank you. Like, Those CIS teams really like to fight. So now we've got a little bit of switch up coming out between these two guys.
I think that it kind of bodes for slightly more interesting games when you have teams of this caliber because they're really good, but they're not quite like top tier like the Virtus Pros that we view as like tier 1 or on on Reddit it was tier S, I believe. But like there was a great point that Kyle made yesterday that I always try to explain to people whenever I'm like spectating tournaments is these type of teams like they give stuff away for free sometimes. Like they're really good teams, but like they'll make sloppy plays or like every once in a while, once or twice a game, and it adds excitement to a game because you're like, this game's over. Like they can't lose. They're up 2 racks, and suddenly like that OpTic game where they had megas, I couldn't believe they lost.
I was convinced they won that.
They
game
got
too.
megas at like 35 and lost at like 60 minutes in. So those are the type of games that honestly I think are great for viewers too. So.
Not great for them though.
Definitely not great
From a
for them.
player
Yeah.
perspective, that's demoralizing. But for us, makes
Yeah,
it
it's
more
kind of
interesting.
like you think of all the mega creeps crazy comebacks in Dota, and it's like how many of them have featured 2 of like the top 3 or 4 teams in the world versing each other, and I can think of maybe like 1, like personally.
Yeah, there's
like,
not
It's
many.
like that one TI game with EG coming
Yeah,
back.
EG comeback.
Yeah.
There was
EG
one, I think.
EG.
That was like that was like more sick EG plays.
There was a
than,
DAC
like,
one,
a
I think,
throw.
with Vici Gaming, where Ice and his team came back against Mega Creeps against Secret, I want to say.
I think there was like 2 at Manila Major.
Yeah,
we had
but
a lot. Like,
You
I
think?
can come
Yeah,
up with one,
it just feels like majority of those crazy comebacks are when it's like those historic games are often when it's like teams that are just that slight echelon below.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, looks like we've got a draft brewing here, gentlemen. It's game 1 of LGD taking on OpTic. Be hopping into it here in just a second.
Yeah. So LGD's done a bit of their homework. I actually think that Bounty Hunter, personally, I think that was like Sox's best hero at the Aces tournament. He only played it like once or twice, but he had such a huge impact. And then Bane, one of PPD's specials, and Zai's been playing Brewmaster. They've been first picking it every time it's there.
Yeah, the Brew's definitely become a popular pick. Saw a lot of him, like the OG, going for the early,
Yep.
if not first phase, Brewmaster picks for S4. So
This is the PPD hero. He played this one every game at Aces. If it was either Bane, Ogre, or he got thrown at something else that it didn't seem like he really wanted to play.
it's pretty unusual to have a player benched for a coach, right? I can't recall that having happened before.
For LGD.
Yeah, for LGD.
I haven't seen QQQ play Pro Dota in like, I don't know, 4 years, 3 years? It seems like ages.
He played at Bucharest, right? PGL Minor.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah,
you're right.
he played PGL
Yeah.
Minor with them, and he was doing pretty well. They were just putting him on these like dead heroes. They were just like, oh, you're AA, you're like silencer, you just click alt. That's in some of these situations.
As much as I think Victoria's a great player, at TI he was phenomenal on the 4 position role. I don't feel like he fit this LGD team on the
Okay.
5. Him and Yao, like I think that was LGD's biggest weakness was their support duo. As much as they had like what looked to be like one of the all-star teams coming out of the post-TI China reshuffle. So
It's like pretty crazy how you can take like 5 really good players and it just doesn't work sometimes. Like
Yeah.
you've seen it multiple times, so like recent past in Dota, but it does work like that. Sometimes the personalities or play styles just don't mesh.
Well, OpTic with
That's-
the Bruisers. They got the Night Stalker, the Ogre, the Run At You draft.
That's a really nice Night Stalker pick. Super good versus Nyx Assassin. You match up really well versus him, as well as versus Puck. And this will probably be Sox's hero. More than likely. I think we saw one or 2 core Night Stalkers yesterday,
at least
they
one.
We
yeah.
saw it from
One.
Complexity at least once.
and it didn't work.
Yes, it lost.
Yeah. So I think we'll probably not
They had
see that one.
morphling problems.
They did have
Yeah.
morphling problems.
Who doesn't nowadays?
Yeah, it is. Like you always want to look at the 4-position matchup between both teams. And Night Stalker, like you said, is just very good against Nyx. So it's kind of like at nighttime from 4 to 8, Nyx doesn't have much he can do to stop the rotations from Night Stalker. So you can definitely look for him to take over the game if he's a 4 or if he's a 3.
Nice thing about the Nyx pick is it does block off a lot of the kind of popular mid heroes in some ways, so does limit that pool of heroes for CCNC.
It's like pretty common to pick Nyx with Puck too, because it's such a hard counter to Puck, and like for them to pick it instead of Night Stalker in that slot. So people kind of it goes decently with Puck, and then you block pick the counter as well.
No Morphling picks.
Then
And
there's an AA
yet.
band.
And there's an AA band. Exactly what I was thinking.
LGD's got the pick out of this too.
Oh,
I
jeez.
feel like OpTic's almost like you guys.
They
All right,
almost have
we're
to ban
forced
it,
to
yeah.
ban Morphling almost.
Well, at
Unless
least
they
we know
want it.
one team's not going to have Medusa, because they're not going to pick it into Nyx, right?
They
Like,
might.
They
No,
might.
but
Uh,
could an LGD take the DOTA?
I'm saying at least one team's not gonna have it.
Gotcha.
So maybe OpTic will take it out here.
They've got Bloodlust. Bloodlust and Medusa. It's like,
That's
all right,
the
come on.
I feel like Medusa is good enough here. You can actually play it into Nyx. Is the
Yeah,
crazy thing.
that's
I agree.
We've seen teams pick Medusa when Nyx is still in the pool, and Nyx doesn't get picked, or if it is picked, it's Medusa will still win the game.
That's
He's
when
gotta-
you know it's a problem.
He's got to walk
Yeah.
into Mana Burn. You walk into that, you're just like, okay, I'm dead. I'm into the trap.
Well, I
So-
think they're considering their options. Ban Morphling, don't ban Morphling.
Okay.
He was spamming Luna in pubs yesterday.
Man.
Yeah, I got to sit right next to LGD with my computer, so I got scouting report.
The BSJ personal pub station.
Yeah. Exactly. I do like the AA ban too. It just goes so well with Nyx. And it like makes these like tanky heroes that OpTic has, even though they're only supports or possibly an off lane, like they just melt in like the mid game.
So is there any reason not to go Morphling now?
It's gonna be more first Medusa game, I feel.
Oh.
There's another hero that we've been seeing a lot of. Similar idea to
Yeah.
Morphling and Medusa. It's just like the offlane version, like a hero that you just can't kill, like unless you have very specific heroes to deal with it. And he offers team fight, so just does a little bit of everything.
Well, we saw the specialty too from Kingwin. They were doing the Tide Hunter Dusa combo. So it's just like you take team fight, Ravage, Stone Gaze. You can't win most of these fights, so maybe LGD's setting up for that. If OpTic does go for the Morphling here.
I think
OpTic's
LGD
pretty weak in the team fight department right now, gentlemen.
Yeah. I think that's why they're okay with OpTic picking him more, because they feel like they're going to have better team fight. They can just play that kind of 5-man, take objectives, push Dota, which is kind of what we've seen from LGD a bit at MDL.
Yeah, if like these broken heroes don't get picked, it definitely like both teams are still definitely considering them.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
like in their drafts.
There's still an Omni Knight.
Okay.
Sometimes we forget about other broken heroes when
Yeah.
when you talk about some of them.
That's a good one. Repel and Bloodlust on a hero.
Yeah, they're gonna have to pick like a really hard throw everything on this hero, make him amped up. Night Stalker can build the utility items too, like the medallions and.
So they're looking for a super carry.
Yeah, honestly,
So
it kind of depends
they're
on.
looking for a Morphling, I guess.
Might you say a certain water creature?
I feel like LGD could be setting up for the Ame Terrorblade too. That's one of his more played
Ooh.
heroes too, and that actually works
Yeah.
pretty well versus Morph and versus Medusa.
And that's a
The
great
reflection.
absolute last pick type hero.
Yeah.
So and they
Yeah.
do have an
Not the
LGD.
fourth pick. Yeah.
Yeah, LGD does have that. So
I
That-
guess the issue is if OpTic pick Morph and then ban the TB, which is like if LGD's trump card is picking that TB as a hero that can win the game faster and counter a Morphling, but you don't get the hero.
And the Luna's already banned, the other kind of popular pushing hero nowadays.
Okay, they just
there
take,
it
they
is.
you
take the
go.
Morph themselves.
Waterman.
Good against Omni and lane,
Yeah.
pretty good.
It's got to be
the
more first
Kraken.
Dusa, guys. Oh
It's
my
either
god,
Du-
it's the first game,
It's
and it's
Dusa
gonna
or
be
the,
so hard.
the TB BSJ mentioned, I think, is a decent option, but
I
Wait,
had,
so
I
is
had the
there-
option of just picking one, but now they're going to pick both. Now I don't know what to do with my prediction.
They're using their last pick for 5 position, something you don't see very often with the team that has second
That
pick.
is very interesting.
Yeah, because usually it won't be too uncommon with the team that has first pick, like OpTic does now, because you have 2 picks right in a row. So it doesn't really matter what you do 4th and 5th. It's just a ban in between. But with absolute last pick, usually you don't save it for the 5. But that just shows how highly prioritized these cores, Tide, and Morphling are.
Yeah, I think that's really it. It's not like they came into this draft thinking let's 5th pick our 5 position, because most teams are getting their supports early. It's just they really wanted the Tide and then the Morph when they were left in.
Could be support puck.
We've seen it.
We have seen it.
Yeah.
It's
Be a little
I wouldn't-
weird duo, but.
I wouldn't put it past Yao. Yao used to first 2 Bat Rider, and he'd play the
Yeah.
Bat Rider.
Oh,
like
yeah.
80% of
That
the
was
games.
LGD started that.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them doing something along those lines.
I mean, do you like it versus this lineup? You've got 3 tanky
Not
heroes.
particularly,
You're
no.
under-leveled against the Night Stalker.
It's not good. I think you want disruptor type hero.
Whoa. Okay, I was.
I mean, it looks even more enticing to make it a support now, because they lane countered it.
Yeah, that could actually be a possibility. Very single target on OpTic.
Well, I wonder if they even put them. I guess
Just
you could
put the
also
morph mid?
Yeah,
Yeah.
puck safe lane we've seen from like complexity.
Oh,
But
God. TI2 flashbacks. Morph wins every lane.
God, playing in those tournaments was so awful. It's literally just morphling every single game. No matter what you put mid, it's just a morphling.
Morph
You'd like
mid.
dual lane him and still lose.
It's like Sylar mid every game is morphling. You're like, what the hell is going on here?
Beautiful Dota.
It was good times.
That was the true 4 Protect 1 days.
Yeah.
Morph anti-mage every game.
The Naga Tide morphling tri-lanes as well.
That was when supports were like permanent poverty status. There are no bounty runes.
I was gonna
no
say Gyro for OpTic, but
rubber band mechanics with.
Yeah. Gyro or OpTic needs some kind of like AoE fight. Like
Yeah.
they're actually just straight single target. With these heroes
That's
at
like
the moment.
I thought only because we saw Gyro Omni yesterday from Virtus Pro, and that looked like really good. It was like the follow up to Chrono and everything, and I feel like OpTic just exactly what you said, AoE damage in team fights. So I don't know what other carry solves that problem.
At this point, their draft just looks like it's going to potentially just straight up lose to Morphling. They have no
Yeah.
way to push and end fast. They have no hero that counters the Morphling. Like the Nightstalker Silence can be okay
It's
before
nice
it gets
early.
Lincolns.
Yeah.
Early, but mid to late game, they can't beat a Morphling right now with their draft.
And I'm trying to think like PyCat heroes too that would fill it, but they actually banned out like all of them. He doesn't really have too many big options that are glaring.
Safely induce, I guess.
Yeah, Safely Induce is like the biggest one that we see.
I guess that's the only AoE team fight, but that just does not sound good against LGD's
And
lineup.
Shadow
It
Shot.
seems very greedy, and it's hard to kind of contest the Tides lane a bit at that point.
They could do something like Monkey King too.
The old school
Ooh.
Tide Hunter counters, Monkey King, with
Yeah.
Ursa, something like
Yeah.
that. Just try to run away with it, but
Ursa seems very weak, but the
Yeah, I
monkey
don't
seems
like Ursa.
more fitting.
Ursa TA, I can tell you as an Ursa player, because like I love picking Ursa. It just feels like such an awkward combo because
Yeah.
like they both offer very similar things in terms of like physical damage, single target. Huskar.
oh,
Okay.
okay.
That was the A
That's
ban.
the AA ban,
Calculated from the from the second rounds of bans from
There you go.
TI winning captain PBD.
Huh. All right.
I'm always down for some Huskar. That
Summit
hero's-
Summit winning captain
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, so there you go.
The Husker pick, mate. That's kind of the X factor game. The hero that can actually win them the game now. Like either push fast and early with a fast like Husker strat, even theoretically. match up against them a little bit.
Huskar.
This is the game where I watched. I believe it was from Asus, but maybe it's from MDL. But that like was it MDL where TMC picked Huskar? Was it that tournament? It was recent. It was the last couple days, but they
Yeah, that was MDO.
basically like Huskar's a hero you pick to like have a really good lane. And so what these teams will do is I expect to see some sort of like musical chairs of lanes coming out from LGD because they put Huskar to go against like one of two melee cores, and then somehow we ended up against a tri lane with a Morphling in it in the mid lane.
Watch this be like an undying puck in the offlane.
Yeah, that's
Something
what
crazy, you know.
Like they're gonna follow PyCat wherever he goes. At least that's what I expect. Because every time I think of Huskar in like an ideal scenario, he just crushes any melee hero 1v1 or like if the melee hero solo. So people like don't want to give you that matchup, especially because he has the Omni Knight Ogre, so he can just win the game 15, 20 minutes in. So
and it's Husker with 2 melee support, so theoretically can get pressured a lot.
yes, exactly. So and he's a hero that's incredibly weak in the early levels, like especially before Armlet.
Do I go first, guys?
Oh yeah, you got to predict.
Do you
it.
guys want me to
Yeah,
set you
let's
onto a
get
good
that
pa-
prediction
set
out
you onto
there.
a good path? All right, I said I was going to do this beforehand, so all right, I'm going to go with Morphling. Let's go LGD. I think they're going to take it later in the stages of the game. I think they've got enough to deal with this.
You're
Huskar.
really making me want to go OpTic.
I know.
but-
Good luck now.
Everyone's still like,
I was gonna say LGD, but so did Fox.
To tell you guys how.
I believe in Morphling. I was about to say I believe in
Hop shit.
Fog, but no.
Don't believe in me.
correction. I
Don't
believe in
believe in me.
Morphling. No.
I'm not too crazy about the Undying and Nyx. I think Undying's great versus Hus, but Nyx doesn't really look like he does much in this game. Versus these heroes, they're all just kind of
I agree.
these big
yeah.
brutes.
Yeah.
No int heroes really.
I think
yeah, I
OpTic's
gotta
game
say-
plan's like they're either gonna win with like one Rosh snowballing, taking all the towers, and then taking the second Roshan ending, or they're gonna lose. And I think that their win condition's harder to pull off, kind of like we were talking about yesterday. That the team that has the easier time winning, and I don't think like OpTic can't win. I just think that the Huskar has to have a good start, and they have to snowball out of the lanes.
Does look like LGD will go with a standard lane set with Tide in the off lane, trying to pull the creep wave.
That's another option.
Yeah. So rather than aggro him, just go for that creep wave pull.
Huskar should be probably happy with that.
Yeah,
If I'm not getting aggro tri-lane as Huskar, then I'm happy overall.
See where QQQ looks to spend his time here.
He'll probably start. He'll probably start in mid. He'll just go mid and top.
How much can they? Yeah, it's one of those weird things because Morph is like a hero you want to kind of guarantee that safe, easy start to. But these are definitely two supports that are not going to be able to do much to an Omni Knight.
I guess Nyx can just like mana burn him. I mean, it doesn't do a crazy amount, but
Yeah.
Morphling will get his farm regardless, even if he gets pressured early.
yeah. Mami's got really nice farm patterns. You're a big fan of his Battle Fury Slark, right, PS?
Oh, dude, that was inspiring. That hero farms so fast if you can
You
get a good
tried
start.
it. I
That's-
remember I was watching you when you tried it.
Yeah,
It worked. You won.
Yeah, no, it's a hero that like if you have a good start, but that's like a huge if.
Ami is, I think, as far as like one position carriers go, probably one of the biggest like just like straight up farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He was the guy who went Mask and Manus every hero at TI. Regardless of hero, his team just picked him some kind of hero that would just AFK farm.
Okay, so they're prioritizing just initiating with, or starting with the Morphling. They're having the Undying, zoning the Omni Knight bottom. The Nyx can't really do it too well. Nyx is going to go top, try to pressure a bit and give FY space, but just priorities.
I think if you look at LGD's draft and you say, look, Morph's a hero that's going to win them the game, send your best zoning support to that lane. As much as Undying can secure Maybe's lane or could help pressure the Husker, if you think Morphling doesn't care about a Husker, then just, secure his lane. Everything else falls into place.
When we watched the Morphling game, where they also shut down the Lone Druid between EG and
it was Cole Kingwin.
Oh, Cole Kingwin. There you go. Thank you. I knew it was Kingwin. Cole Kingwin. It was one of those things where they spurred the Morphling's game, like by prioritizing his game, but also shutting down the pace setter of oh my gosh, complexity with the Lone Druid. And in this game, though, Omni Knight's purpose is going to be repel later. Like he's going to be useful. So it's like they're going to give their Morphling a good start, but it's not going to be like the double the effect that they had in the Cole Kingwin series. So I think that this is something where Morphling is susceptible to like really early timings being hit on the enemy cores, and Huskars are one of those heroes. So I think it's definitely something to look out for, that Morphling may just be ignored in this game. Like he's a hero that can be ignored if they are able to force objectives really early.
It's like, for the most part, pretty even lane setup here. A lot of harassment on this puck, but
It gets really, really hard once the TA gets level 5. That's pretty much the factor where you just lose the lane.
he brought a salve. I wonder if it actually got cancelled. I think this is his second salve now. Like you say, tough matchup, and they didn't even, like they had the puck early on, so they didn't opt to switch their lanes up, which they could have theoretically done.
Looks like Huskar doing pretty well in the top lane. OpTic did end up bringing the Night Stalker over there, so already sitting 8-1 despite the early pressure.
Tide's doing well too, though. 8 last hits for himself after that, getting that top pull on the wave.
If you're Huskar, you mainly just want your own farm early, right? Get the fast Stormlet out.
Yeah, definitely a hero that plays off his own timings rather than like limiting or slowing down the enemy timings.
Well, overall thoughts here, gents? No real major adjustments by the teams. Are you happy with the lane so far?
I'm happy for. I think LGD's pretty happy. I think this. I mean, Morphling's free farming. He's got really good tools in the mid game with his morph ability. He can morph the Omni Knight. He can give himself repel. He can morph the Ogre. Give himself Bloodlust. He's got some good stuff later on once he gets that ulti available.
I feel like when I saw the OG like supports, I expected them to at least win one of the 3 lanes. And it doesn't feel like they've won any of the lanes. They haven't lost any, but to me, that's what LGD wanted. They just wanted stable lanes. Tide's a hero that wants to farm. So is the Morphling. Puck wants his levels. That's why he's mid. The fact that OG haven't won any lanes with Ogre and Night Stalker, to me, is a bit concerning.
Oh god, when
He's getting so
OpTic plays OG, if they play them, it's gonna be
Every time I
OG
cast
versus-
OpTic
real
games,
confusing.
every time I cast OpTic games, I keep saying, I say OG. I think it's I will say that like while I think both teams are getting what they want at the laning stage, even though LGD like I agree with everything you guys said, I think that OG or OpTic is completely content like with their Omni Knight getting whatever he gets, and then as long as they're 2 cores, they have 2 very snowbally like reliant on the laning stage cores, and they're getting what they need, even if the Tidehunter somehow has I don't know exactly how that happens. Yeah, I don't know how he has more CS. Like I play that lane a lot. Maybe the Nyx just had that larger of an impact on the top lane, but. At the end of the day, if Huskar's having a decent start, like a lot of times Huskar games that are ugly are the ones where he's like in that TNC game, he was like level 5 at 10 minutes in on Huskar.
Yeah.
I guess in order to win a lane, OpTic would have had to have sacked a lane as well. So the outcome here is that they've, much like LGD, have managed to get farm and levels in all their lanes.
Yeah, they don't like they're just saying Omni Knight, you do you. Like we're gonna make sure our TA and Huskar have good starts.
Yeah. And Omni with the levels and farm will have the levels he needs to empower this Husker.
Exactly. He's just a steroid for them after all.
OpTic going to bring PPD down to the bottom lane. Is the first nighttime now. See if there's any early ganks.
Like, I mean, it's daytime, sure, but that 0 to 4 minutes Night Stalker is still incredibly strong just because of his level 1 nuke and his base stats.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Sometimes Night Stalker has been delegated to becoming like a lane support, like for ranged heroes especially, because range heroes like Huskar are kind of vulnerable to like dual melee offlanes like this, where they just run in your face and harass you. So Night Stalker can kind of just be like a meat shield in the safe lane. So it's like another way teams have taken this hero who's been getting a lot of priority in the picking. Just having heroes with multiple purposes in the laning stage makes them more viable.
Oh, could be the first blood here, bottom.
That Mango.
No, it should be okay. TP's out.
He's got a Soul Ring. He's got everything he needs on an Omni Knight.
Even has a shrine, so he'll be back bottom in no time at all.
Oh yeah, he TP's trying.
Nobody's really getting shut down this game.
Yeah, all the
Right.
cores.
All the cores are happy.
Yeah. Lowest is 17 at 6 minutes. So.
Support levels look pretty even, slightly LGD favored with the Nyx.
Yeah, for such like snowbally lineups, I'm surprised like everyone's having a good game. That's usually like.
This surely can't last. This
Yeah.
is DOTA after.
I'm saying like usually it's the opposite. Like everyone's having like a bad game because everyone's focusing on shutting each other down, but both teams are just playing for their own fun.
Yeah, and it's such a patch where offlaners can get shut down so easily with
Yeah.
the new
QQQs
group
in
equilibrium.
In some trouble here.
Trap coming through,
Yeah,
and
he's dead.
first blood to Zai.
Good rotation.
Nice snipes there.
First Night Stalker, level 3, stronger than most cores.
Well, maybe could be in trouble here if he's not careful.
The haste.
Has the haste still. But they're in pursuit.
Wait, he's got an extra circlet.
The haste is wearing off though.
He's got 2 nulls, a wand, and a circlet.
He's going Keela too. I couldn't think
Is
of
that what you do?
anything else that included in there.
I was like, I guess. All right.
It's going drums.
Invokers
We're seeing
can do
everyone
it.
get drums now.
There you go. He's not an offlaner though. Moose special, phase
Yeah.
drums, every hero.
Are there many ancient stacks for Tia? I wonder if that's going to be one of the big things maybe if for OpTic to kind of accelerate. But
I didn't really see them prioritize the
Yeah, I didn't
ancients
see
too
Ogre
much.
stacking at all.
Pursuing now, maybe here.
Got the
They
silence
got the
for him,
silence
too.
off. Can they bring him down? Soul
Oh,
Rip
big soul rip.
That Soul Rip was so much health.
heals him up. They had to quit the tombstone for this.
Tombstone is
He's gonna
problematic.
Oh, they stunned him during the
Oh,
E.
he's dead. Is he? Oh,
Silence,
the
TP.
TP.
Coil. Oh, they get him, but heavy
coil.
commitment there.
That was
for
a 6
Sansa.
stun by the Nyx. He like did it right when the Night Stalker used his Hunter in the Night. Yep.
Still, all the cores overall pretty happy with this early laning stage.
Morph took an early point in Ultimate. Something I like actually thought was pretty good against Omni Knight specifically because you just when he's manning up on you, you turn into him and then heal yourself just to get the good trade.
Gives you sustain in the lane
Yeah.
too. If there's an Omni, you just heal yourself.
Yeah. Well, you come back out of
Yeah.
out of the Ultimate with your normal health
Mhm.
that you started with. It's like Morphling takes ult usually at like level 6 or level 14. So it's either like really useful or not useful at all.
So it's like the first big move for LGD. When this night ends, do we see a gank coming?
They don't have like much tower forcing, so it's kind of like it's a good question. I think they will play around Tide Ravage, but at the same time, I don't think OpTic will give them a team fight. I think it's going to be more on OpTic's timings than LGD. I think LGD's got a Morphling, and they just got to make it to when Morphling's powerful enough to fight, and they just got to make sure that Huskar and TA don't snowball off the
Speaking
roof.
of that, Huskar jumps in here top lane, but the
Uh-oh.
Ravage is waiting if the Tide has the mana for it. Moves on to Pycat. The TP comes from Ame.
That's
They get the
huge.
kill on the Huskar.
That's never nice as a Huskar dying at the 8-minute mark when you've had a free lane. Well, had a farming
Did
lane.
he carapace the ult from
Carapace
Huskar?
afterward with the old, I think.
Oh, okay, because it looked like his ult did like 70% of Huskar's health.
I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it was afterwards just on a burning spear.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's like something as Huskar where you're mid lane.
Uh-oh.
Could be finding another kill. CCNC snapping the coil, tries to back away, but
He
they
has a
stun him.
bunch
They
of
orb
sticks.
through, and
Doesn't get him off.
they'll get the kill again.
Not a good
Oh,
start.
he did go Bracer. He's going drums.
Yeah, he went Bracer.
Oh, I don't know if he's going drums, but it could
Ah.
be casual bracer.
I think he just acknowledges like he has to make space for this Morphling, so he's gonna have to just stats fight. Consistent,
almost
like
gets
ramping up his power
They got
rather
another
than
kill
going
out
for the
of
big
this.
items.
PPD on a long journey, but Morphling
It's a PPD
cut him
special
off.
here.
Yeah, I was just saving his
Space
stun.
created.
He's
PPD
fine.
Go back the other way.
He's
Kinda-
fine.
He's actually,
It's not even worth chasing
he
him,
might
gentlemen.
actually be fine.
they could chase him, but it's like, why
Who
bother
cares?
for an ogre?
I wish I had this life. You know, like you're a carry and you're
He might
out of
still die.
position. And,
Tidehunter and Pucker coming in.
Wow. Maybe he wants to make it worth it.
I can't believe this
He's
happened.
still
I can't believe
chasing
it-
him. But now FY's in on the action. We've got 4 LGD heroes.
Clarity and get the TP
Two
on.
of them gave up, but the
25 mana, force
maybe
the ults.
still going in.
Oh my
Morph
god.
Actually,
died
be able to
top.
bring him down.
Meanwhile-
Meanwhile, more important kills happening as
Hey,
Ame will fall.
no, this set that kill up, so this was definitely the more important kill, you know.
How'd they get the kill? I guess the Night Stalker silence. He got in, even though it's daytime. He got in for a second with the Huskar.
Yeah, Huskar does tons of damage at this stage. He has the armlet complete. Brown Boots armlet.
And Vendetta.
Try free out, but force out the Vendetta.
With Ravage and Vendetta, they can definitely kind of try and make some plays here, but
Yao running right by a sentry there. Perhaps OG going to set up.
Yeah, LGD doing a good job. Like they gank the Huskar, and they also gank the TA. So they recognize like TA and Huskar are just the pace setters. Like if they don't snowball, this game's ours. So they're really prioritizing the right heroes, and they got to keep doing this in my opinion. Like TA and Huskar, like they hit their timings way earlier than Morphling.
He's going drum.
Oh, we were joking, but it looks like that's a thing. Oh, they lost mid
He
tower.
lost his
already.
tower, yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
I didn't notice that. When did that happen? That must have been during the PPD chase because he was.
That was all people.
It actually had to.
He
have
got
been.
them a morph kill and a free tower.
Yeah, wow, that was huge.
That's some next level Dota.
That mid tower is like really important for Roche contesting, so that cannot be like understated how important that tower is.
They are going to find potentially a big kill here, though, as they look for CCNC, but he's got a shrine with the help of the Night Stalker. So LGD hesitating to move up, but they bring in 4 heroes.
Defend the tombstone.
They really lack catch. Like their only real like casual stun that isn't an ult is Nyx. So
And they're not getting that early blink on the puck either. We'll see a stun here on Soxa. How much do they want to commit for this kill? Orbing forward. Flaps away. Oh, the miss.
they're
Coil
losing
has to be
top tower
blown. And
during all
meanwhile,
this. Yeah.
Huskar doing what he wants.
This is the dream Huskar game. I mean, in terms of you just get to turn your armlet on and take the tower.
LGD is getting split up a bit, yeah. They are pressuring bottom, at least with the Morphling, though.
I didn't notice in the draft, but LGD really does lack catch. So you're seeing it when an ogre can run pretty much like, zigzag across the entire side of the map until he dies.
That tends to happen, though, when you have an Undying, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the games you have an Undying.
And they last picked
so-
it too, so there's something they were fine with it being the case. Going straight into the Lincolns, no upgraded treads. Something I constantly don't know if I agree with or not. Because the boots of travel are so nice on Morphling, and I think if you want to fight, then you go for the treads. But I think he's like, I don't think there's any time in the first 20 to 30 minutes that a Morphling can fight a Huskar Omni heads up.
I think he just doesn't want to wait for that Lincolns. Like, the only way he dies is if he gets
That is
silenced
true
from Night
too.
Stalker, right?
It does slow down your Linking's timing as well, but almost every time they skip treads, they also go back for the boots of travel.
Yeah.
he's kind of
Fair
hoping
enough.
for that scenarios like top where he can play the cleanup, where his team set up a kill for him, he TPs in and
Yeah.
gets like the Huskar.
Anti-mage team fight contribution.
Exactly, yeah.
This-
You can contribute to a team fight with just your battle period, but you need to make sure you're the last hero to show up.
Exactly. Yeah.
LGD.
Coil coming through. They're going to commit here towards PPD, but the Ogre's not the one you really want to dive for as QQQ gets caught out even through the Soul Rip, will go down, and now the chase is on. They have the Ravage, but OpTic are too tanky. I'm not sure they could take this. They'll try Ravage. Big Impale follow-up, but the Huskar, if he lives through this, can turn it. The Omni ult comes out, and now Ame's on the
Omni
run,
Huskar.
get chewing right through him. Goes for the self-repel, tries to get away to safety, but still pursuit. Dropping the traps, waving out, and LGD, round 2 of this fight, going to be lacking some of those big team fight ults. It's just the cores of OpTic running right through them. Pycat diving forward. They'll find QQQ as well. 3 drop in the end, and Ultra make it 4.
I can't believe they
Looking
took
for
this
maybe
fight.
2.
Yeah, I can't believe they fought into the Omni Huskar. That stuff is so like it can't kill you because they can't have like no way of getting on top of you with the Huskar. But if you run into the Omni Huskar like that, like that's Huskar's dream. He's got a saving hero that keeps him alive, and then he just wails on you the entire fight. And Huskar is definitely one of those carries that can get ultra kills and rampages 15 minutes into the game.
It's the strongest point of Omni Knight's game, pretty
Yes.
much. You've
Same
got
with
like
Huskar
level
too,
8,
though. He
9.
just hit Armlet, and he's got an Omni Knight with him too. He's got Bloodlust and Vision from Night Stalker. Like even though they don't have team fight, if you can't kill Huskar, that's your team fight. Like he just
Oh, no,
kills you.
maybe.
Popping those drums, trying to get away. Soxa chasing him out, has to drop the coil. Still, though, snapping it
He
keeps
might
on
still be
going.
dead.
Needs another orb.
He's chasing him with the phase boots.
Looks
He's
like
fast.
nobody TPing in, but in the mid lane, also TA diving at the same time for FY.
They're just spreading him so thin on the side of LGD. Like they're just getting like chased around or chasing it. Like it feels like OpTic's getting a lot more off the map.
Especially with those early towers going down.
He's going straight Satanic.
As a Husker player yourself, seems a bit unusual. Do you think it works this game?
Well, usually you don't go straight Satanic because they have like some semblance of like a mischance or something that makes it so you need a BKB, and that's why you don't go Satanic because you can't reliably hit people with it. But because he has the Omni Knight, and they actually only have like Ravage and Nick Stun for him to stop him from auto attacking. I like it. I like it. It's one of the few heroes in the game that you can go early Satanic and like validate it.
I watch Ace play that hero, and he goes 4 halberds.
Yeah, I always see.
That's the other route.
I was this game. There's not many heroes you really need the halberd against that much.
It's good versus the Lincolns on the morph though.
True.
They have low physical damage on LGD, so going like evasion or armor isn't as necessary this game either. I'm just saying, as one of the few carries that I've ever built early Satanic on is Huskar, so situationally, and I agree with it in this game that it's a good option because they just can't stop him from auto attacking.
Nice pick off there. Yeah, we're going to snipe the courier, but Fly being pursued here as well, and you can see LGD just not wanting to fight OpTic head on after the way that last engagement went. So they'll spread out the map here. A tier 2 bottom is going to fall.
Can't believe I predicted the same team as Frog.
Dude, I'm telling you guys, it's the
Don't worry,
curse
guys.
is real. It's
still,
not over.
There's still a Morphling.
We got the
Husker is
Morphling in
online.
our bank.
Morph is not online yet.
OpTic's doing a great job of having both their cores be really farmed. Like CCNC, I like that he went for that blink first so he can get involved in the early fights because with their peak timings.
In no way am I saying this game's over. It's just like it does. Like OpTic is getting everything they want right now. It's just a matter of when they can get this first Rosh, because usually with Huskar lineups, it's the second Rosh that you end the game with. So you want the first Rosh, so you get the second Rosh faster.
So it's more so just that I said them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if I lose my prediction, it'll be because I was led astray.
It feels right now like OpTic kind of have more of the momentum their way and they're getting a bit bored, but that's where they need to be. Like in a sense, like the game feels quite even because OpTic's only slightly ahead.
For sure. I didn't envision the game playing out the way it did in regards to like OpTic kind of just spreading the map with their heroes and then taking one big fight with Huskar.
Yeah. I mean, they've got Deso TA, so they can definitely easily Rosh now.
Yeah, TA's rich. Blink Deso, 17 minutes in.
Meanwhile, for LGD, Morphling got his Lincolns.
I think the scary thing is when Husker and TA get their BKBs, I imagine Husker probably after Satanic gets it, TA probably after Deso, they don't really do anything against BKBs with their lineup.
They do not. They might just go one BKB between the two of them, so Omni Knight like deals the other one.
Yeah, that's true. They've got the repel.
But Huskar's a hero that BKBs like makes you almost impossible to kill, but at the same time he has like such efficient damage items that he can buy because of how his passive works. So if I had to choose one hero getting a BKB, it would be TA.
I feel like LGD can itemize a lot just to deal with physical. Because you look at OpTic and they have no magic. It's really just the physical damage from Husker.
Burning Spears, man.
Burning Spears do add up. It is true they do add up.
They hurt heroes like Tide that like rely on debuffing.
Yeah. But on the,
you can't get rid of them.
For the most part, they don't have like that magic team fight. So I think like Halberd's probably like the best item in the game for LGD. I think Tidehunter had it queued up already.
Yeah, 2 range cores definitely signals Halberd.
Yeah.
And you're right, he does.
Yeah.
All right, LGD smoking up now. They're going to fight headlong into OpTic. CCNC might be in position to break this as Ame finds a kill on PPD, but the more important action up here near the Roshan Pit. Sentry gets dropped down. They do get the jump on Saksa, but the Omni Knight's in position. The Ravage coming through will connect there on the Huskar, but Zai able to dodge that, stay alive.
Is that Zai's
That was
That's not used.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
it
is.
is.
Yeah, it's his own Yules. That was a sick
So it's the
dodge.
Pucks. I knew
I thought it
Puck
was
has
Pucks.
Eagles.
I thought it was Pucks.
No, he went drums.
He's got you too.
Oh my god, they have the same build. They have
Yeah,
drums, Yules,
I was
and
getting ready to. I thought it was actually like a miscoordination from LGD.
Yeah.
That was really nice from
I
Zai.
thought he was trying to use the Yules on the Omni Knight to make sure he didn't do anything.
I'm
to
a glass
save the
half full
nice
kind of
stuff.
guy. I
enough.
assumed it was Zai,
Yeah.
I don't see Yules very often on Omni, but
No.
against the Puck silence, other than Nyx, he doesn't get disabled. And he can dodge Ravage, apparently. That's another application of the Yules.
Yeah, good.
That's point blank as well.
Yeah, that was like predicted by Zai.
Could have very easily been 2 kills there, and with Omni dead, you can take Roche or maybe take the team fight. You don't really have the best Roshing lineup.
Yeah, they're simply trying to stop OpTic from getting rushed.
Yeah.
Well, now you know the Ravage is down. Coil, I guess, coming back soon.
Yeah,
There it is.
there
Straight
it
into
is.
the
He's
pit.
queued up the Halberd.
Quadruple Halberd build going.
Let's go.
We've seen Ace.
It's just so value on Huskar. You get so much from the strength because of the health regen from your first ability.
It's a lot of strength on Halberd too.
Yeah,
It's
it
been buffed
is.
so
It's
many
damage.
times.
It's 16 strength and 25 damage, I think. So it's a serious damage item with his attack speed built in.
Yep.
And then the evasion is obviously a nice perk.
Here comes Yao moving in, but the Sentry gonna find him deleted. And potentially more to follow. The Roshan claimed as Pycat snags the Aegis. And they did
Yules.
trap one with the Yules. Good setup on QQQ. 2 kills right back the way of OpTic to go with that Rosh.
I'm telling you,
gonna
this is
say
a
that was the
Huskar
other
dream.
ones.
This is the dream Huskar game, like the way it's played out.
Spirit Vessel coming out soon on Night Stalker too, so they're getting the tools that they want to deal with that Morphley.
And this could just be the Aegis to take high ground with too.
They could
OpTic-
take a later Rex, like no joke. Like because
take
there's a
several.
Morphling, they basically have a 4v5 scenario with an Aegis Huskar, one of the scariest Aegis carriers in the game, because he like wants to play at low health, but sometimes he'll be too scared to do so. But now that he has the Aegis, he's willing to sit at really low health, and that just amps up his damage output like significantly.
And to top it off, Ravage still cooling down a bit longer here, so OpTic wastes no time going high ground.
I like the puck. He gets the creep wave coming up next, so he knows if they clear this wave and stop the
They have a
push.
catapult though, so
Yeah.
You say if, and OpTic say no. Straight onto the tower. Coil committed, but only a stalling Coil. Pycat running in through this. He just dives in with the help of the repel. He'll force them on their heels. Now the melee racks being chewed up by CCNC. Where's the hold for LGD? OpTic gonna reset. They've done some pretty critical structural
Morphling's on the high
damage.
ground bottom. That's key here. He's going to force them back, so they've lost a tier 3.
Oh wow.
Oh, he took a tier 3 actually. Wow.
Not bad by OpTic.
That's why he went bots. Like as I like to try to understand the decisions, and that he has no intention of fighting them.
This
unless-
little puck might be in too far. Phase shift. Doesn't have the blink dagger though.
But he's got
PPD wants to
drums.
pursue this. Yeah, he bangs
got
the
the
drums to
drums.
safety. Now the Morphling comes in. They'll find
There's
PPD
the
as well.
anti-mage team fight contribution. Exactly how
They have the Ravage up, and OpTic a bit more hesitant to take this one.
They can not kill this Huskar. Yeah. Maybe once.
They
but-
can stun him though.
Yeah.
Run, yo.
Is he gonna burn down? He's pretty low. They're gonna drop the Ravage. Can they get him once?
They got TA.
Pycat.
Really nice.
There's the Yules.
CCC played a little ballsy there.
Round
Yeah,
2,
he did.
diving back in onto Ame, just man-fight his way
Repels
through all
himself.
4. They can't kill this guy.
They want to get Rax.
No
with-
chance.
The Ravage is used. They're trying to get Rax here while they've still got Aegis, though. And that's this time LGD do not have that split
Yeah.
thread at bottom.
That's a really cool buyback by
That-
CCNC.
I think, yeah, that is really smart. As much as he misplayed by going too aggressive,
He baited out the Ravage.
yeah,
it was all
The
Somewhat.
Morphling, the Morphling turned into Omni and repelled himself. That was pretty funny.
they'll get Rax here and contest it. And
Yep. This is Huskar.
bottom lane. Okay, oh, he still the creep wave.
This is exactly what he needs
wow.
to do. This is like he cannot fight them head on. I
They're
like
gonna
how he
look
showed
for
up.
more though. Coil coming out, trying to slow this down while they go for the trade. Now OpTic looking for a second lane perhaps. They rotate towards the bottom side.
Amne's running toward top.
Where are they gonna go?
He's
Tube
got
side?
Yeah.
creeps on top tower. He's gonna
Ame
go
might
tier
just rat
3.
them to death, but
It's a-
OpTic
It's a one hero
do
trying
this
to
a
trade.
bit quicker.
He has to do this.
With the Desolator, they should be able to get the Rex. Can they get back after that? They're diving in. They might just go into
Objective
a full-on
game.
base race at this rate. Melee Rack's about to fall. Ame's already brought down the tower. He might get the trade too. Will they back in time? OpTic trying to
Melee
get
Rack.
the hell out.
They can't TP really. They're gonna
He's
get
a
canceled.
little
I love
gonna
Huskar
get-
Dota,
what
but
is
they can
happening?
cancel some TPs. Pycat will
Dieback.
go back, try to end this TP.
They're gonna catch more.
Morph. Can he do it? Meanwhile, Zai also
lot of
being
kills out of
pursued
this.
out. LGD getting a couple. The TA first, the Omni possibly next. Morph did TP.
Did he
Don't
get
think
the
he
second
got
lane?
the
I
Rex.
He didn't get the
got
Rexes.
melee, no.
He got it low.
He's-
The
Oh,
Huskar
look at that
Force
damage
Wants
on the
Heals.
range.
yeah,
Could've
if
got
that
him
was on
low.
the melee.
Yeah.
I mean, not bad for LGD.
No, I mean that's exactly what Morphling has to do. So I mean, if they got 2 lanes of Rax on OpTic and LGD got nothing, this game is like over at this
Yeah.
point. That's exactly how Huskar wins. But
It's
I've lost Huskar games like this where you get like 2 lanes of Rax to their 1 and they have this split pushing, really hard scaling core.
not quite the best case scenario where they get the mirror them and get 2 sets, but it's definitely still very close.
I think they should. I think LGD runs top. They have Ravage coming up soon. I think they all should run top and go for that Rex.
Yeah, that's so low. They could, and there's no fort.
Yeah, I feel like that's
Find
what
that Sulky,
that's
yeah.
like what they have to do here. Otherwise, they could be in really big risk of losing this game.
Huskar's Aegis should be expiring soon.
Another tower for the Morphling.
Yeah.
As well. Got 40,
Huskar's-
45 seconds.
Huskar's gonna have AC soon. I think Morphling finished up the Ethereal Blade, but gold is almost evened out.
Oh, they're not going to commit top. TA does respawn in time. So OpTic holding the Rax advantage.
I think if Husker didn't have Aegis, they'd likely go for it, but
Huskar's just so threatening. Like he does so much damage, and I just love watching Huskar games because it just You don't see any other hero games get treated like this, where you're just like pushing Raxus 5 at 20 minutes, and the other team's split pushing because they can't fight you. Maybe Drow, but it's pretty much Huskar. It's the only hero that looks like this. And so Ame's playing it really
That's
well.
a statement I never thought I'd hear. I love watching Huskar games. You go back to like the the Frankfurt Major era, and
Not when he's like not when he's completely broken, but the fact that he like
no more Huskar.
he just like throws a weird wrench into the game that like
Yeah.
it just doesn't resemble any other hero in terms of how the game looks.
That's why I used to always enjoy watching the Brood games, because it was just so unique what Brood did to the laning stage that like
It's
no
like
other
musical
hero did what Brood
chairs
does.
and like random like throwing heroes hoping they don't
These
die.
heroes changed Dota and how it's played. It's good.
Those heroes make
Fog's
it
is
so
just sitting
Some
here
disgusting
shaking
couch.
his head.
That couch over there is actually.
I don't want to see.
I mean, Parker's a Meepo
also
player
I'm
too,
a Meepo
right?
picker,
So-
so-
I don't want to see 10 Broodmother games in a row, but
Yeah.
We've
watch
got
it.
the
It's
Meepo
fine.
Huskar Broodmother couch.
we can appreciate it every once in a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Small doses, small doses. But yeah, I mean, now the pace has slowed down, and OpTic's pretty much just gonna have to wait till next Roche, and LGD is gonna probably try to
And
force
Morphling
something.
is getting pretty farmed
Yeah,
now.
he's got that.
Has the E-Blade.
Going Manta.
All of OpTic in top though.
Manta's so good here. They have like all they have is a silence on OpTic, and then also Manta's really good against single target physical damage dealers, and that's all they got.
Yeah. They're the Ags on the Omni Knight, stopping the split push with his guardian angel.
There you
perhaps.
go. That actually that's a
Force some
legitimate
lanes.
application of
Yeah.
this game.
Yeah, if he had the Ags for that last push, they would have probably still lost bottom, but would have taken no damage at all.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
OpTic, everyone
Goodbye.
hunting here. They
Yeah, the gem on
catch
that
Yao
side.
out with the Yules, and that'll be the death of the Nyx.
Not a big deal, that kill.
Crush the cockroach.
LGD just going to lose a tier 2 tower and then be pushed to defend their high ground.
OpTic might go for more after that, but they have
Hey.
lane problems, so they can't.
Yeah, lane problems and no more Aegis.
Morphling will get to their base before they get to theirs.
They want to try to kill him mid, since he showed on the map.
Yeah, they know this TA maximum has one hero behind because they know the Huskar also has to have help. So this is a good opportunity if they see an opening.
Yeah,
And
they're not.
did
They're
complete the
just
assault
getting
caress,
scored.
so OpTic continue to get those building demolition items.
Can Morph get back top? They've got the creeps in the base.
He can't TB because he'd have to be able to be back to base.
Yeah. It looks like he's not expecting to be able to get any damage done. He's not even coming back.
Yeah,
Not
they're just
even
taking the
going to the
shrine, preparing for
yeah.
Roche.
Yep. That's what Morphling was doing too. He was taking the Dire Shrine for some extra gold.
Yep.
This feels like the critical timing push for OpTic to try and get those decisive mega
I
creeps.
think it's all about that next Roche. HGs. Yeah.
Like if LGD defend, got a lane of racks of their own.
I think LGD try and contest Roche if possible.
If OpTic gets this Roche, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
the game's over.
Huskar is going to be KB, so it looks like that he's going over the TA, which is a bit surprising. I kind of agree with you that it felt like the TA is the one who needs it more.
I think they're realizing that TA is the one getting focused, so they're like ready to have Omni Knight repel him. But at the same time, I agree. I definitely think TA, if I had to choose one, it'd be her. But they can't kill Huskar.
He's got a satanic.
I think it's
AC.
worth them both getting BKB just because this Roche fight
Oh,
can...
QQQ.
They're gonna
decide
try to
the
end the
game.
game in the next
Yeah.
like 10 minutes. Too.
Yeah, exactly, and BKB could do that for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Goes down, will not be a Roche out of it.
I'm surprised he hasn't upgraded his boots on Huskar even this late in the game because like he must be wanting to possibly save for bots while like accelerating his BKB timing. It's just like treads are so effective on that hero. And like since they're trying to end the game.
Split push up top, gonna force TA's TP.
Hurricane Pike on the TA.
Meanwhile, Ame pressuring CCNC here. Does force that TP back, even though he's actually alone. So slowing the game down nicely is the Morphling. So that dance around the Roshan pit continues.
Yeah,
So hard-
OpTic knows what they need to do. You see them drawing the line. Push out top lane and make sure they don't have to deal with Morphling split push while they go for Roche.
I wonder if this is one of the first puck games that we see that doesn't have a blink dagger, even at like the 28-minute mark.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he just picked it up. Oh no, he didn't.
No, he
he
couldn't.
did, he still didn't. Yeah.
Dagon Shivas, yeah.
Yeah, he's just not calling it. I thought I just saw him grab it. So.
If he like gets silenced, even with the Yules, he can like still just get bursted because like, I actually like the tank up puck build this game because they don't have much mobility on OG or on OpTic. So
I think they're just trying to limit the physical damage too. The Dagon's decent to burst off one of the supports, but
Yeah.
the like Shiva's guard very good versus
there's a
physical.
Solar Crest on the Undying too.
Yeah. Just
The main
all down that
downside seems to
physical.
be the inability to kill the Omni Knight, like not having that gap closer, but he's actually got Greaves, so he's going to be able to purge
Yeah,
off
the
the
Omni
silence
Knight's like
anyways.
he's got the Yules,
Yules
the
and
Greaves.
Greaves, yeah,
he's got so many ways of keeping himself
It's
alive.
actually not, the
Oh,
blink
they
is not going to help.
All
against
right.
it.
Well,
can't
LGD, they've only got a second or two to get to this pit. In fact, it's probably already too late. Roche is just going to melt. And again, it's PyCat claiming the Aegis.
This is kind of one of the spots where if I don't know how LGD holds.
Are they going to take a fight?
Morphling is in the
Yes.
top lane
They're
already.
trying to
Just
stop
baiting
TPs.
them out.
Yeah,
And
they wanna fight.
looks like this melee Rex in trouble now. OpTic are not in position
I don't
to
think OpTic cares.
They're
'cause
gonna
they
go
can get
Megas.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
care.
And Morphling cannot go for mid lane with the T2 tower there.
Yeah.
And they might even lose somebody on the way back. The puck
He's just
caught out a
distracting
little
him.
bit.
He's just buying
stalling.
time. Ogre's looking to cancel TP on the Tide. Like, this is great.
Well, they do get the melee, the range top for LGD, but now Mega's on the horizon as
There's a mid
OpTic.
tier 2. He can't even
Bring
continue
this
either.
down. Where does he go now? He heads back towards the bottom lane and waves in that lane, but the
They got to fight.
Tombstone's going to drop, and
Yeah.
OpTic, melee, and Jeopardy will fall. Now onto the range. Where's the defense for LGD? Their base is in shambles.
He
They
died.
come back. Morphling comes into the fray, tries to bring down CC&C
Just going to focus the Rax here.
with the stolen TA. Still trying to work on PyCat here, force him on his heels. Now the Ravage coming through, waves on back in, and now commits forward. But PyCat, that's a difficult man fight. Not one
Almost
Ame can
dead.
hope to take. He has to buy back immediately. 3 very low, but nobody dead. And PyCat just keeps on fighting, gets the monster kill streak. The racks have been claimed. Now OpTic are content to back away. They might lose PPD, but a noble sacrifice by the Ogre. And
Weird
looks
game.
like the rest get out of there.
That's Huskar game.
Yeah, yeah, and I think LGD understands a Husker game and they can't fight in, so they're trying to do all these cutesy plays. Like they wanted to go for Rax while they stopped TPs, then it turned around on them. LGD was the one stopping TP. OpTic were stopping TPs while
Yeah.
they took Megas, and
I really like how they played it though. They knew, like, you saw the supports on OpTic chasing cores on the side of LGD.
Yeah.
Like, you're just not TPing.
they knew
And-
they also can't lose Mega Creeps because of that tier 2
Yeah.
mid. So
That tier 2 mid was massive.
Yeah.
Morphling would have had time to get
Yep,
Megas
absolutely.
otherwise.
And OpTic knew this. Like, they played
Yeah.
it really well.
if
This is the last effort for
Yep.
LGD here.
Defend mid.
Could be the end. Ame doesn't have the buyback. Has to be very careful not to get caught out. Husker will dive him deep, and OpTic
Spirit
Spirit
fuels
Fest
him.
is
Owning
owning
him.
him, yep.
Yeah.
Catching him out with the traps. They blow him up, and that's no Morphling for 90 seconds.
That's
Plenty of time for OpTic to end the game. The GG is called.
always
LGD,
that
the
second
struggle
round.
continues, even with the roster change-up.
our struggles continue.
Yeah.
My struggle continues.
Okay, I'm actually just.
You guys told me to go Morphling.
Here's the deal. Whatever he says, I'm going to disagree with it, and he's either going to get his first prediction right,
You know,
or I'm going to be
I
right.
actually was like, I was doubtful of picking the Morph, but I was like, you know what? I can't be wrong if I pick Morph. And I'm
We
right.
committed earlier, though. We said, like, to solve our problem, we're going to pick Morph. I mean, that's Huskar Dota. I think I said in the laning stage that even though LGD was happy with what they were getting, that OpTic, like, Huskar is just a hero that needs to not get dumpstered in the laning stage. Because you see it so often, he just gets the tri-lane treatment, and as long as he's getting his, he's a scary hero. And you saw the fact that OpTic just hit their timing so hard. And I think Ame did a really good job of, like, doing exactly what he needed to do in response. Like, instead of choosing to fight them, he chose to take racks of his own. But that second Roche, I think they had to contest it. I don't think they can allow them to have
Maybe ends the game with 0 deaths. That's always a sight to
that's
see.
something you see
On a-
against Huskar, actually, surprisingly, because you just get your base shoved in and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's not like you're
me.
refusing to defend. He's doing what he can, but
We talked a lot about, you know, the mid game and late game decisions. OpTic doesn't have to do that if they end the game before mid and late
There
game
you
happens,
go.
right?
They recognized, maybe hashing up the holes in their game.
All according to PPD's plan with that ancient apparition ban.
The Omni Knight pick, yeah,
Seriously.
AA ban, the Omni Knight pick, and then they last pick.
You have to
Huskar.
know he was planning something like that, because I don't know. That's what I realized when I drafted against captains like PPD is something like a random ban that makes no sense, and then their last pick, it's just, oh,
And
well,
now
we lost.
It all fits together at that point. So, I mean, just great timing by OpTic. Anything in particular you would change if you're LGD? Just it's a
was-
Huskar pick, you know.
I wasn't crazy about the Knicks. That was
Yeah.
the one thing I really
Yeah.
didn't like. I don't. I even at the opener puck Knicks. I still just. I don't. I think Knicks has just been starting to get abused. Like you pick this hero and another team just kind of 5-mans versus it, or they pick like no int cores like this, and you actually have no place in the game to really find much.
they committed to it so early that OpTic just drafted around to making this hero use. I think OpTic likely planning this Husker strat regardless, so they really didn't care about Nyx. And
Nyx is kind of similar to like a hero like Clockwork, where he just at least needs one hero that he just owns.
Yeah, exactly.
And in this game, even though Nyx is generally not seen as a hero that like is out of place, like you said, he like what are you gonna do? Mana burn a Huskar or a TA? And I really like the fact that they like went for their opening with the Nyx puck, but I think like we said, Nyx needs to have that one hero, and OpTic had an ogre, and then proceeded to pick all these agi and strength cores. So Nyx, like having a useless hero like Nyx in the later stages of the game makes it really hard to counter these like heavy five-man lineups, because you see the team fight from LGD looks better, but OpTic just doesn't die on Huskar. So
Well, that's often historically been the counter to those long cooldowns is just having heroes that can always fight. And
Yeah.
they certainly had that with the Huskar, the Omni.
it's kind of a fun match too, because LGD chose OpTic to be in their group. That was their
there you
first
go.
pick. You know, they called out OpTic, said we're gonna beat you guys.
there's a lot of little spiciness from the
Yeah.
fact that people can choose their opponents.
Well, it's a full 3-game series, so definitely time here for LGD to bounce back.
Maybe pick some earlier stuns though. Like I think Nyx is a hero that he needs setup. So they have like a bunch of setup and like a big team fight, but no, we saw OpTic just running around the map not caring in the early stages of the game. So like the Undying was their last pick. I think that could have been a hero that maybe did like I mean AA is obviously the premier when they got banned. That goes along with Nyx, but Nyx didn't have like a partner. He couldn't really hunt people.
Yeah. Agreed.
Until the Morphling got farmed, but by then it's far
Yeah,
too
but
late.
Morphling's got to like split push too and far say like then at that point he's got way too much on his shoulders.
And they also know that when they're planning this Husker pick, they're up against a puck, and then the Morphling core, 2 cores that don't match up well against Husker. Not that Husker like hard counters the Morph or the puck by any means, but it's definitely 2 heroes that don't kill a Husker.
Yeah.
So like a Chaos Knight type hero, that way you can just burst down the Husker with physical damage.
Huskar DOTA.
All right. Well, you got Quinn's thoughts there on the match. And we've got a beautiful video for you guys. Coming up next will be the Winter Wonderland ritual created by Sword Bacon of the custom game and mod community. Enjoy.